Hey, welcome back to Black Lab Garage. Today we're working on my 78 short wheelbase F-150 four-wheel drive. And there's going to be a lot of projects for this truck, but first and foremost is the axle U-joints have went bad. And while we're at it, might as well change the ball joints, repack the wheel bearings. The biggest and hardest part will be the inner seals for the axle are actually inside the differential housing. You actually have to remove the differential to get to those seals and replace them, but my luck being if I didn't replace them, as sure as I put it back together, it'd start leaking. So might as well just bite the bullet and replace them. I've already got the passenger side apart. I want to show you how to take the driver's side apart, but the process is exactly the same for both sides. So let's go. Alright, first thing we want to do is take this lockout loose. I'm trying to get the camera in here to where you can be able to see what I'm doing here. Hopefully you can. You know, I can't complain, even though changing the U-joints and stuff in the front axles is not a fun job on these. I bought this truck 13 years ago for $800. And I've absolutely run the wheels off of it. I mean, I've got my money back, I couldn't tell you how many times over on this truck. And this one actually came from the factory with a 400. It is not a 351M like most of them are. This truck was actually special ordered that way because it actually came also with a 9 3/8 differential in it, not the standard Ford 9-inch. You could order the 9 3/8, which was usually reserved for Lincolns and a lot of the trucks that had that were camper specials to do towing and stuff got the 9 3/8 instead of the regular 9-inch. And here's what's even more odd. It actually had a 9 3/8 traction lock. Now that's like the rarest of the rare. Alright, now we got all the Allen screws loose on the lockout. Just pull your lockout off. And, you know, this is kind of odd. This one has the snap ring. There's a snap ring right here. But oddly enough, the passenger side didn't have one. Which I've seen that happen before. A lot of these trucks are run without this snap ring right here. But remove that snap ring. Now the fun part, getting this other snap ring out. And yes, I was being sarcastic when I said the other fun part, because it's, if I can zoom in, you can see it right there, it's round. And got to find the end of it. There we go. Sometimes, well, I'm going to catch easy. Well, I was going to say sometimes you can catch them just right and pull them right out. There we go. Now we got the two snap rings out. Take a couple of the Allen head screws out of your lockout. Just thread them in here. Pull your lockout out. Which these are mile marker lockouts. Now let's take the brake caliper loose. Alright, take a 9/16 wrench and put on that bolt. So this is the only bolt on the brake caliper. And take a hammer and a punch and drive this spring and wedge out of here. I don't know if I can do it sitting like that. There we go. Sometimes you gotta persuade the caliper a little bit. Oh, about fell off here. Now, if you're looking and kind of wondering about the caliper, that is not a stock F-150 brake caliper. That is a Ford Thunderbird caliper because they have a bigger piston in them, and that's why I used it. Better stopping power. So, now we've got that done. Let me move the camera here. Okay, you see up in there now there's a special nut that has 4 prongs, or 4 notches in it. And it takes a 4-prong socket to remove that one. Then behind that there'll be a washer that has a bunch of holes punched out in it. And then behind that another nut like its first one. And that first one locks into that washer, and then that one locks it all together. So, and that socket's available at any auto parts store, you know. Like, personally, my favorite's O'Reilly's, but you know, hey, if you want to go to AutoZone, whatever, that's your mistake. So, let me get my socket here. We'll take this loose. See the 4-prong socket? And this one is, tells the size on here somewhere. I thought it did. Anyway, it's Performance Tool W1271 is the number on this one. There we go. Okay. There's the first nut. Now reach up in here and try to get this washer out. Sometimes they'll slide right out, and sometimes they're glued in there from all the years of grease. There we go. And there's the washer with holes in it. Remember me saying there's that other nut has a little I guess call it a tit, sticks up on it, and it'll lock in to one of these holes in this washer, and that's what keeps your whole hub from sliding off. Now let's take the other lock nut off. There we go. Alright, and that was loose. And right there's that little tit I was talking about, sticks up. Once you've got that loose, you can grab the whole rotor and hub and all and slide it off, which, let's go ahead and get the wheel bearing out. There's the outer wheel bearing. I'll soak them and dry them, and then I'll repack them before I put it back together. Of course, there's your inner wheel bearing. Now the fun part, taking this spindle loose. And yes, I'm being sarcastic, it is not fun. It is not fun at all. Because to my knowledge, these have never been off since 1978. They make a special puller for it, and I don't have it. Looks like these are 11/16. One. Two. Three. Four. And 5. Now the fun part starts. That's the tongue twister. Basically, you just have to try to wedge a thin chisel in behind here. This one's actually coming loose fairly easy. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. There we go. Now, I can get to stay up here. Right there, there's a needle bearing. It's in the end of these things that everybody tends to forget, but we're going to replace ours. Now we can go ahead and pull the hacksaw out. Yeah, you see how bad my U-joint was? Anytime you see them rusting, they're shot. Now let's go ahead and take these cotter pins loose. I believe these are the original cotter pins. Matter of fact, you can still see writing on the ball joint boot. Yeah, this cotter pin ain't going to turn loose. So in that case, break off what we can. Let's see, what size is that? That size. 1 5/16. Okay. Come on, Elvira. Papa. Papa. Mama. See, no stubborn nut can resist Elvira. Let's do the rest of it the easy way. I'm just going to let that fall out because I guarantee you it's hot. Hey, I believe this cotter pin will come. Lucky there, it's going to come out. He didn't want the Elvira taken to it. And that one is, I'm going to guess 7/8. And it is. Let's see if this will take it loose. Well, that's tightening, not loosening. And let's see which pickle do I need here. And I don't know why they call these things pickles. They don't look like a pickle. I doubt they well, I don't know, they might taste like a pickle. Pickles don't taste that great. Get in there. There it goes. Yeah, that side wouldn't wear too bad, but we're going to go ahead and replace it. Actually, we're going to replace both tie rods. Move the camera. Now we take the nut off the bottom ball joint. And sadly, I have to save the nuts off of this because the new ball joints didn't come with nuts. And yes, I bought genuine Spicer ball joints. I had to buy them individually. They normally sell them as a kit. Nobody had the kit. You know, I couldn't have done that if I tried. Set up. Well, at least you know there was gear oil in it. And I'm gonna let that drain overnight because that'll take a while. So we'll pick back up tomorrow. Alright, now one of the first things we got to do is mark these caps before we take them loose, because they are line home to the housing, so they are side specific. And I'm just going to use a punch. One mark for the driver's side, and the mark I'll put at the top so I know which way's up. And then 2 marks for the passenger side at the top. Well, if I could hit it. Oh, come on. Just to be safe, D and P. You'll also want to keep, whenever this goes to come out, whenever we go to pull it out, keep the races matched with each side also. I'll get a pry bar. Notice I'm not on the teeth. We just race over here. Alright, now that I got the differential out of the way, you can see your axle seals right there. There's one on each side. So let's knock the axle seals out, and then it's time to clean this nasty housing, because I'm not going to put it back together all nasty, and we're going to clean the axle tubes and stuff up too, because I seriously don't think this thing has ever been apart since 1978. I might be wrong, but I don't think it has. Alright, let's press this lower ball joint out. That was easy enough. Now you see why I wanted to replace them? Just flopping around. There we go. That one didn't want to come out. So now what we're going to do before I put the new ones in, I'm going to take a wire brush to this, put a little paint on it so it don't rust back as bad, and then I'm going to take a sanding roll and go around the inside of these and clean them up. So I'll see you back here in a bit. Put the upper ball joint in. Make sure it's fully seated. Dust cap back on. And now the lower ball joint. Something I wanted to show you. I ordered, these are genuine Spicer ball joints. Your lower ball joint, this is the dust cap that comes with it. I'm just not crazy how that fits. It doesn't cover it up very well. So what I done is I went and bought two cheap U joints, but they had bigger dust caps on them. Now I like that a lot better. Just not crazy about that little bitty skinny dust cap. So Now all you gotta do is put your snap rings on. Alright, it's time to put the seals in the inside the differential, but I want to show you something here. You can see what I'm using. I'm using new old stock Ford seals. Looks like somebody had put some in this at one time, because if you look, this appears to be an aftermarket. And here's an original Ford next to it. The thing is, look at the sealing lip, and then look at the lip inside the Ford. Quite a bit of difference. The Ford's just a better seal. So I stuck these in the freezer to get them cold. You know, shrink them up a little bit so they'll go in easier. Notice I said easier, I didn't say easy. And I've got an 1.5 inch 6-point socket, and it seems to fit that just perfectly. So that's what we're going to use to drive the seal in. So let's go over here to the differential, or to the axle I should say. Looks like it's about where it needs to be. Alright, now do the other side. It actually went a lot easier than I thought it would. The only downside is you ain't got much room to swing in here, but it can be done. We're almost there. I believe that's where it needs to be. I'll give it one more just for good measure. Alright. Ain't fighting with it no more. It's home. I'll show you here. Get the camera moved. Hopefully you can see it. Now before we put the differential in, or carrier, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to get a little grease on my finger and put it inside these seals, so that way when the axles are slid in, it doesn't start off dry or, you know, tear the seal or anything. But that horn looking part of the seal, that's actually the guide to help guide the axle shaft in. Okay. Now let's put the differential back in. And hopefully you've still got your caps marked, or you marked them when you took them loose. If you didn't, you're screwed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'll stick that on there just to help hold it. We'll drive it on home right here in a second. They make a thing called a case spreader that's supposed to help in a case like this. Never really needed one. But if you got a good dead blow hammer or a good piece of hardwood, there we go. She's back home now. It's hard to work with these gloves. I bought these from Harbor Freight because they look like they would last longer than your normal $5 pair. And they do, but they're freaking stiffer than a Methodist minister's pecker. I mean, you can't hardly do anything with them. So just, if you ever go to buy this pair, just know that up front that they're kind of stiff. Now let's torque them to, we'll start off at 30 and I believe it goes to 60. 30. You know, this has been a good old torque wrench. I had it checked a while back and it's still dead on the money. And I bought this thing in a pawn shop 10 years ago. I bought it used then. It's an old, Matco. like pawn shopping. Take advantage of other people's misfortunes. Get some bargains. There we go. Now take a tension off this. We're ready to put the cover back on it. And then we can put the axles in. Alright. We got our silicone on. So now let's put the cover back over it. Now the fun part, trying to get these clips, snap rings, whatever you want to call them, off this old U-joint. And most of the time when they're this rusty, they don't really come loose, they just break. I got one part of it, I got one side I have to raise up anyway. Let's get a pick under it now. Hey, got it. Well, no, wait a minute. I only got part of it. No, it looks like it got all of it. Now I will go ahead and tell you, when you're doing this, spend the money and buy actual Spicer U-joints. Don't skimp out and buy the old cheapos at the parts store. Because you will regret it. And it will come back to haunt you every time. Yes, I know Spicers aren't greasable, but the greasable is a far weaker U-joint, and this wasn't an ultra strong design to begin with. And see it being drilled through the body for grease. Weakens the U-joint that much more. There we go. Let's see if I can get it with this pick, whatever. Got it. Ah, wait a minute. Yeah, that did break. That's all right. There we got the rest of it. Now then. Alright, I'm getting tired of playing around with this U-joint. One way or another, we're getting it out. Almost out. Well, one of them. There it is. She's out. And look, it was dry as a bone on grease. Now let's repeat the process for the other side.